So if you have that awesome story and you've already written it and you are dying to figure out how to get it properly formatted, there are two programs you're going to need. One of them is Sigil, Sigil, and the other is Calibre, eBook management program. Calibre is spelled Calib, and I believe it's just R or RE. They're both free programs. They're both awesome. They're simple to use. I'm going to show you how to quickly format your book, your manuscript, into ebook format using Sigil. So I've opened the Sigil program. Hopefully you can see my mouse. I'm just moving it around on the screen a little bit. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is take the document that you've already created. Your document is your story. Go whatever program you created it in, you need to save a copy of it as an HTML. It's a .html file type. So do that first. Download Sigil, download Calibre, and open Sigil. You're going to see this page first. Now, I've already saved a copy of my newest book, and it's still in the works, so I'm not done with it yet. I've already saved it to an HTML file type, a copy of it. So I'm just going to open that here, and we're going to use it to demonstrate on Sigil how to properly format it. It's so easy. You're going to be so surprised. Okay, go to File, go to Open. Mine is in my Documents file. And let me scroll down to it. Oh, now it automatically, when you hit Open, it asks you for the ePub file type. So you want to hit the drop-down menu, and you want to pick the HTML file type. It's the one that's highlighted here. So we click that and go to wherever you saved the document on your computer. And I just titled mine Part 4, and I just double click it. And that's going to bring the whole manuscript into this single page that you see here. I'm using my hands and you can't see me. This is the first time I've used this desktop program to record while I'm showing you how to do something, so I'm hoping that'll work too. It's all about experimenting and having fun, quite frankly. Okay, so here you have we've basically stripped out all the formatting that was currently in your document by turning it into an HTML file. So the first thing we're going to want to do is separate it out by chapter. The easiest way to do that, while you can see the first chapter is here, if I scroll down, you're going to see that the entire document, the whole manuscript, is in this single window. And see, we're up to chapter 4, and I'm still in the same window. We do not need that to happen. In order to format it most rapidly, go down to the Find, backspace to get rid of anything that might be written in it, and just type the word chapter. Then you can click Find, and it'll highlight that chapter. Now, chapter 1, we want it to be its own separate document. So all we're going to do, if you just hold your mouse over the icons, it'll tell you what you're looking at. But we're going to do what's called Split It Cursor. So just hit Split It Cursor, and you'll see over here, there is now an HTML file, section 1. Now, it is important to, at this point, stop, go to File, click on Save. Your title will appear in the window, and you need to save that as an ePub file, which is what comes up automatically. Okay, so just click Save. Periodically, as you go through your document making changes, you're going to want to go back and hit the Save, and it's already in the same document name as the one that you've opened in Sigil. So we've done the first chapter. Now we simply want to hit Find until we see chapter 2 highlighted. Once we see chapter 2 highlighted, we can simply go back up and click on Split It Cursor. Now you're going to see how repetitive this is, but it is awesome. You see, now we have a second HTML document. That means it's separated chapter 1 from chapter 2. So we've done chapter 2. Go to chapter 3 by hitting Find. When you find it, put your cursor right in front of the C in chapter. That's where I'm putting it. And then hit split it cursor. Now we have 3 documents, 3 chapters, 3 documents. Hit find again. And we're just going to quickly do this. We're just going to keep repeating this activity, this exciting thing at splitting it cursor, until we've completed all of the chapters in our document. Now we're going to go back through and make one other, maybe 2 other changes. And that's all I'm doing is I'm just putting the cursor, I'm hitting find, letting it find the next chapter, clicking to unhighlight it and put my cursor right before the C, and then hitting that split it cursor. Now, if you don't have the search window down here, I may have already set it, but all you need to do is go to Tools and go to, let me find it real quick. I don't see it here, so maybe it's editing. I can hear my bird's bell. I think it was up when I opened the program. I use the program a lot, so I'm not sure. If you find you have a problem, just leave a comment and we'll sort it out. We'll figure out how to get it there. Now, it doesn't matter if you click anywhere else in the document. As you see, I'm just setting the cursor at different points in the document. That's fine. And just hit find. And there's chapter 7. Split it cursor. Click find again. You have to hit it twice because it's already on one. Excuse me. It's early in the morning. I'm still drinking my coffee. Okay. Set that before the C in chapter or wherever you want your chapter breaks to be, and click split it cursor. I don't think I have a terrible lot of chapters written so far, so I'm just going to spin through them real quick. And you know, you have super awesome stories to tell. The important thing is just hit your marks. Do the things you need to do in order to get your book formatted. You don't have to rely on other people. You don't have to worry about getting ripped off or scammed. You can simply do it yourself, and you can teach other people how to use it for these 2 programs, or how to write a manuscript. Any help you can give other people in sharing their story with the world, please just do it. It's fun. It teaches you things. You may not run into all the problems you could possibly run into when you're writing a book. And therefore, if you're teaching other people while you're learning, you are actually learning from their mistakes, learning from their confusions, look things up for them. Sometimes it's easier to help someone else do something, even if you're not sure, because it causes you to want to look it up yourself, research it more perhaps. But I find anytime I get stumped, if I look at other people's questions, I can sometimes help them with their question while I'm having no success working on mine. Okay, and I've reached the end of my document. Okay, now if I were to scroll up, that's as high as I can go because I've separated this into the 17th document. In order to access these documents, say I want to change something, like I wrote something here. If I want to take it out, all I have to do is highlight it, backspace, maybe backspace a couple to put my spacing in, and then click File and Save. And that's saved. The second thing we're going to want to do is go back up to this first one. Just double click on it in the left-hand column where you see my mouse is. Highlight it, highlight that chapter 1, and click on heading 1. And you see the screen kind of blips at you. That just means it's setting it as the heading for that chapter. Double click on number 2, and we're just going to do the same thing. Whoops. I don't know that it makes any difference if you highlight the whole line. But anyway, we're just going to hit H1, which means heading 1. And we're going to highlight chapter 3 and hit heading 1. highlight chapter 4. Oops, I did it again. Just because I don't know, I don't want to leave it completely highlighted. And then we're going to go to chapter 5 and just keep tapping heading 1. And this is just telling the document that this is a heading, not a part of the body of your story. And you'll see in just a moment why that's important. We're just going to keep going through. And there is a way to check and make sure you've done your work right before you even close Sigil. So don't get stressed thinking, I don't know whether I did it the right way or whether I just corrupted my whole file. That's why you're using a copy, because you want to make sure. The way to know that you have clicked on that heading 1 is you'll see it's highlighted. Okay, and I just have a couple more to do here. And I'm just going to set all of my chapters as chapter headings. And as you see, there's no space right here between chapter 12 and the top of that document. When I highlight it and click on H1, it drops it down an appropriate amount so that it looks proper on the screen. And we're going to do chapter 13. And I'm just double clicking when I get to the file that I want. And you see it stays highlighted, the file you're on. I'm almost done. Bear with me. 2 more to go. 2 more to go. And don't you be reading this story because it's got a lot of work it still needs. But I think it's going to be awesome. I'm loving this story. This is Never Caught, Never Free Part 4. The next book out is going to be Part 3. So this is the one that's going to come after the one that comes out next. Part 1 and 2 are already out. Okay, we have set our headings for all of them. I just returned to chapter 1, but you see it kind of formats this so that there is this space at the top above the chapter heading, then the chapter heading, and then you can adjust the spacing between chapter. You can make any adjustments you need to make, including like taking out and putting in things in your document. The next thing we're going to want to do is go to Tools, Table of Contents, and Generate Table of Contents. Now look what just happened here. It took all of my headings that I've just put in here, and it's added it to the left-hand column. That's a heading 1, which is this highlighted button over here that we clicked, and then the check mark tells them to include that in your table of contents. And as you see, you can double check to make sure you didn't overlook any chapters. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All of mine are here, so I'm going to click OK. The final thing we want to do, now this is just basic formatting. This is if you really want to get your book out there and you have already put in all the work to create the story and it's so fabulous, you're ready to share it. This is just the quick and dirty on how to format it. So the very last thing we want to do is we want to go, pardon me while I squint at my screen. Oh my goodness, it's hard to see. That's the downside to Sigil for me is I guess I'm going practically blind. The font is so small, but I use my cheaters once in a while so that I can still see it. And, I can get the job done. What we want to do is we want to validate, or I'm sorry, it's well-formed check ePub. It's going to be under the tools, well-formed check ePub. Click on that. And as you see down here, no problems found. That means this document is properly formatted as an ebook, and you can run a spell check. There are tons of things. You can use this as an actual word processor if you want to use it that way. You can also create your what are they called? Cover pages. You can do your copyright information. I haven't included mine because I'm still working on this manuscript. But if you need to insert something, you can go into chapter 1 and let your cursor sit right at the C, and you can hit that split it cursor again. See where the drop down says split it cursor? You can click that there, and then it will create a new document. It's going to push all the series of documents, it's going to push them down, all these little files that you've created, and you can go in and include your copyright information. Now with Amazon, when you go to publish it as an ebook, they do not want you to include a cover in your document. So you may have an absolutely stunning cover. You're going to submit that directly to Amazon outside of this document. That's how they want it nowadays. Okay, we are finished here. So all we have to do is hit File, Save, and we can close out the document. From here, we're going to go to Calibre